The year is 1916. The guns have fallen silent. But another sound rises behind the lines. Not artillery, not machine guns, something older. The rhythmic thud of axes, the rasp of saws. This is the sound of survival, echoing from a time before gunpowder. We imagine the Great War as a conflict of machines, tanks, aircraft, gas. But beneath it all, armies depended on wood. The most advanced war in history relied on skills familiar to medieval woodsmen. In the forests of France and Belgium, men with axes and saws fought a different battle against mud, rain, and collapse. They built the skeleton of the war, trenches, dugouts, roads, out of timber. Their work was the heartbeat that kept the military machine alive. Without them, trenches would dissolve, supply lines would fail, and the war could not have been fought. The sharp crack of a falling tree, the groan of timber, the shouts of men, these were as vital as the roar of the guns. This was the forgotten orchestra of the war. The Western Front was built quite literally from the ground up with wood and human ingenuity, and it all began with the echo of the axe. The demand for timber was staggering. The Western Front was a vast subterranean world, over 400 miles of trenches, tunnels and bunkers, all hungry for wood. Every trench needed wooden frames to keep the walls from collapsing, and duckboards to keep men out of the mud. Dugouts and bunkers were reinforced with massive beams, turning the earth into shelter instead of a grave. Above ground, timber built roads, bridges and railways, arteries that kept supplies moving, ammunition boxes, railway sleepers, observation posts, even grave markers. Wood was everywhere. The war consumed timber at a rate that would deforest a large county every year. This was not just a war of steel and explosives. It was a wooden war. To feed this appetite, armies needed men who knew the secrets of the forest. The survival of millions depended on the strength of these wooden structures. Without wood, the front would have collapsed into chaos. The war's true foundation was timber. Why not use machines to harvest timber? The answer: silence. The front was close, the enemy always listening. The noise of steam engines or chainsaws would have drawn instant artillery fire. The terrain was hostile, muddy, cratered, impassable for heavy machinery. So armies turned back the clock, relying on axes and saws, quiet, adaptable, powered by muscle and skill. Forestry units became ghosts in the woods, felling trees within earshot of the enemy, undetected. The axe and saw, ancient tools, became weapons in a new kind of war. Their quiet efficiency kept men alive. The forest floor was no place for machines, but perfect for the woodsman's craft. In the silence, the old ways proved indispensable. To meet the need, the Allies turned to experts, men from the forests of the British Empire. The Canadian Forestry Corps, formed in 1916, brought professional lumberjacks and sawmill operators to the front. These were woodsmen taught to be soldiers, not the other way around. Older, experienced, and deeply skilled, they understood the language of the forest. Their arrival transformed operations. Logging camps and sawmills ran with clockwork precision. They managed logistics, built roads and railways, and ensured sustainable timber supply. Their expertise meant speed, efficiency, and safety. They were respected for their strength and endurance. In a war of machines, these men were the quiet professionals who built the world the armies fought in. The woodsman's knowledge was irreplaceable. At the heart of their craft was directional felling, the art of making a tree fall exactly where needed. In war, precision was life or death. A tree falling the wrong way could block roads or draw enemy fire. Woodsmen read the tree, its lean branches the wind, then cut a precise notch guiding the fall. The felling cut, made with a crosscut saw, was finished with wedges, giving ultimate control. This ancient skill allowed trees to be laid perfectly for extraction, even enabling limited mechanization. Directional felling was the crucial first step in the timber supply chain. It was a marriage of ancient craft and modern need, performed in life-saving silence. The woodsman's eye and hand made the difference between chaos and order. Their expertise turned forests into lifelines. In the war's chaos, the art of the fell was a quiet triumph. The old ways saved lives. The woodsman's skills enabled one of the war's greatest deceptions, the steel tree observation post. On the flat fields of Flanders, any vantage point was priceless, but obvious towers were targets. Engineers built hollow steel trees, camouflaged to match shattered trunks. Artists recreated bark and shell damage. Inside, a hidden observer watched the enemy. Installing them was a silent operation. Woodsmen felled the real tree at night, undetected. Under cover of darkness, the steel replica was erected in its place. By dawn, the enemy saw nothing amiss, but inside, Allied eyes watched every move. This feat of espionage and engineering was only possible because of the woodsman's silent craft. The forest's secrets became the army's advantage. In war, even a tree could be a weapon. As the war ended, technology had changed the world, but the quiet lesson of the woodsman remained. In crisis, the newest solution isn't always the best. Mud could stop an army, an axe could save it. The Forestry Corps proved the value of timeless human knowledge, skills passed down, not invented in labs. These men, largely uncelebrated, built the world of the war and saved lives with their craft. They were the silent architects of the Western Front. Today, their story reminds us not to discard old skills in our rush for the new. The enduring wisdom of working with our hands is a resource of immense value. The echo of the axe reminds us, sometimes, the oldest knowledge is the most powerful tool we have.